So there's a subfield of behavioral psychology known as trait theory, where they try to drill down and discover the basic tenets of behavior that are consistent across all situations. And kind of the hallmark result of trait theory was the big 5 personality traits, and it's hypothesized that these 5 traits are consistent for all people across all situations. And a famous study showed that when you put someone in somebody's dorm room, this subject could accurately determine how the person who lived in this dorm scaled on these big 5 traits just by analyzing things like how neat the room was. Now, a place where a majority of people have social interactions today is on the internet, and specifically on Facebook. So the question is whether you can determine someone's personality by analyzing how they've portrayed themselves on Facebook. So through natural language processing on what they've posted, can you determine how they scale on the big 5? So I built this app called Know, and it's short for Know Thyself, the famous Aristotelian idiom. And it basically determines how you scale on these big 5 traits. So here's my example. The big 5 are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So I said that this was all determined using natural language processing on what I've posted. So if you're open, that means you're open to new experiences. That means you're going to be tagging new places in your posts. You're going to be tagging photos, because if you're going to new places and you want to remember them, you're going to take a picture of them and then post it. Conscientiousness was tricky. How do you determine how organized somebody's thoughts are? So the way I did this was basically building a spell checker. And the more misspelled words, the less conscientious you are. Extroversion was somewhat simple. The more times you tag your friends in posts, the more extroverted you are. Agreeableness was also kind of tricky. So I also kind of did the inverse here. I said if you post a lot of curse words or insults, you're less agreeable. And neuroticism was also kind of tricky, and neuroticism means emotional stability. So for that I utilized the Alchemy API, specifically their sentiment analysis API. And if a person generally posted more positive, more happy posts, I rank them higher on emotional stability, and somebody who generally posts more negative posts rank lower on neuroticism. So then the question becomes, once we have this data on people's personality, what can you build? So it turns out there's actually a whole host of things you can build, and it goes back to why I say here, discover yourself and the world. So basically, once you have data on people's personality, then you could combine that data with other data and then give them recommendations. So then I also built a recommendation engine, and specifically I built it for movies, just as a prototype, because Facebook has a lot of movie data, and I could corroborate that data with the big 5 personality trait data that I also obtained from Facebook. So the way that works, it basically takes, the app gets permission, and then it takes what movies you've watched and recorded on Facebook, and then it assigns to the movie what your scale was, and then people with similar scalings will get similar recommendations. And I have some other ideas of the sort of things you could build. You could build a friend analysis. You could see which of your friends is most similar to you in personality. You could build a news feed where you only see posts by people of similar mind. And the thought is that if you're only posting and you know the posting, if you know that your postings will only be seen by people of similar mind, there's probably less concern for privacy. You could also build sort of a human recommendation system, give people the chance to meet other people who are like them, and then give them the chance to message between them. So I think there's a lot of potential for this app. Now, this was sort of optimistic sidebar. I was only able to accomplish the personality determination and the movie recommendation system, but I hope to continue this, and I hope to build on it. I think it could be really awesome. Thanks.